Hello, my name is Johnny Binder, General Curator for Cameron Park Zoo, and thank you for joining us on this edition of Step Into the Wild. This is kind of a special edition. For those of you in the community who know me, know my favorite animals in the world are snakes and reptiles, and so this is a special edition because we're going to really be looking into the husbandry, the very specialized care, and all of the things that go into maintaining a very healthy herpetarium. So I'd really like to thank you for joining us today on this really cool special edition on reptiles and especially snakes. So please join me as we step into the wild.
My name is Brian Henley and I am a reptile keeper in the Department of Herpetology at the Cameron Park Zoo. Here at the zoo, one of the things that we do with reptile conservation is, besides having a large exhibit of reptiles to help educate folks, and especially young folks that would not have the opportunity to interact with these animals otherwise, so they can come through the zoo, they'll be able to see these animals in a very real setting and be able to develop an appreciation for them. And by them being able to appreciate and learn about these animals, whenever they go out into the wilderness, they will have experience and knowledge about these animals and an appreciation, and leave them alone in certain ways, and really have an understanding of why we have reptiles on this planet and why they're important to us, and how they fit into the role ecologically and are a very pinnacle part of our environment. Right now, with the species that we have at the zoo that are of concern, is we have Galapagos tortoises, we have the Komodo dragons, and we have various other species that we have here. Alligators are also another one, and these are all reptiles that we have specifically at the zoo that are of conservation focuses from different standpoints to preserve the habitat for those animals and to ensure their survival. Galapagos tortoises, a lot of that is the same way. Recently they found out that most of those are completely different species depending on what island and different parts of the island that they're on. Reptiles, a lot of people view them as dangerous, especially snakes, just due to various reasons. And the truth is that there are venomous snakes that are out there, but most snakes want to be left alone. The reason that snakes are important is that they're important for pest control. They control rodents, they control many other detrimental species that are out there, and they are also in some ways and fit in the food chain. There are birds that consume snakes, and so there's many different ways that snakes and dangerous animals, reptiles, fit into our ecological system to benefit our environment as a whole.
Hi, I'm Priscilla. I'm the swing keeper here at Cameron Park Zoo. I work in 3 different departments, which include the aquatics department, birds, and reptiles and amphibians. Here we have our commonly known gaboon viper, scientific name Baetis gabonica. It is found in Central and West Africa. Typically, you would find this type of snake in savannas or rainforests. It has this awesome camouflage, so it can hide in leaf litter very well. So the interesting thing about the gaboon viper is that they carry the largest pair of fangs. They can get up to 2 inches, giving them the highest venom yield. They're also the heaviest viperidid, so they can get up between 20 to 25 pounds. So here at Cameron Park Zoo, we feed them rats because they are a large snake. They get large rats to medium to large rats. We get them in frozen and we thaw them out. These snakes are great with tong feeding, so we'll use long tongs as an extension to feed.
Here at the zoo, one of the snakes that we work with is actually a fairly attractive snake. It's called the Mugens furtilans, or a Brazilian lance-headed viper. They are a kind of medium-sized lance-headed viper that comes from central and eastern Brazil. They're generally found in tropical dry forest areas, and sometimes in what is called a pampas habitat, which is grasslands. They're a highly venomous snake. Their venom is actually a very specific type of venom, and they have pharmaceutical companies are looking into different components of the venom to see how they can use that venom to benefit people. They can look at it, find different enzymes and proteins within the venom that affect human physiology differently. And so we get things like heart medication, painkillers, things like that are derivatives from snake venoms. And so these snakes, being a highly venomous snake and possessing some of these very specific enzymes, are ones that folks are looking at to create human medications.
My name is Benjamin Dahm, and I'm a keeper here in the Herpetarium at Cameron Park Zoo. Heloderma is the genus that consists of the Gila monsters and the beaded lizards. They are the two venomous lizards in the world. You'll find them in parts of southern Arizona, Mexico. The king cobra is one of the largest venomous snakes in the world. It's not a true cobra, as it's not in the genus Naja. It has its own genus and species. It's the Ophiophagous, which means that they are snake eaters. And they can deliver a bite that can have up to 6 milliliters of venom. The anaconda is the largest snake in the world, not to be confused with the longest snake. They can reach up to right around 28 feet or so, sometimes up to 30. They live in South America. They love the water. They spend a lot of time in the water.
One of the aspects that we do, and part of the daily husbandry of taking care of the reptiles here at the Cameron Park Zoo, is we go through and we visually inspect all of our enclosures and the animals on a daily basis. We check for signs of health. We make sure that the animal is sitting in a correct posture and that it's not showing any abnormal behaviors. Part of that is we'll have to get into the enclosures on a daily basis and move the animal around and make sure that they're moving normally. We check for signs of just things that need to be cleaned up, give them fresh water, make sure that there's no stools or messes that are in the enclosures that need to be cleaned out. We also check for signs of when the snake or reptile is approaching ecdysis and is getting ready to shed. And then we record all of those things that happen with our animals on a daily basis so that we have a good history of what is going on with the animals. So in some instances, yes, we go in, we open up the door, we move the animals around, and we check them. We make sure the glass is clean for the public, and we make sure that the temperatures are correct for the reptiles in their enclosures, since reptiles and amphibians lack the ability to control their own body temperature. So these are various factors that we go into our enclosures, both on and off display every day, checking for to make sure that our reptiles and amphibians are healthy. Another valuable species that we work with here at the zoo are the Galapagos tortoise. The Galapagos tortoises are very unique species. They evolved on a series of islands, or the Galapagos Islands, which are around approximately 600 miles off the western coast of Ecuador. And it's a fairly new species that evolved fairly uniquely compared to other tortoises. These animals are the largest species of land turtle in the world, some of which can grow up to 500 to 600 pounds. They are primarily herbivorous, feeding on grasses and cacti and other plants that are found in the local areas. And in their natural habitat, they play the role that antelope would in other environments, such as the savanna. The Galapagos tortoise, what they do is they go around and graze and control the plant life on the Galapagos Islands. Recently, they have discovered that there have been several different species of Galapagos tortoises, where at one time it was believed that there was only the one. A unique species that we have here at the zoo is the American alligator. The American alligator is really a very interesting animal for many reasons, because It is a very unique model of how conservation can work. During the late 1960s, the American alligator was on the brink of extinction due to overhunting. This caused the U.S. government to place alligators on the endangered species list, which prevented hunting and stopped the poaching of these animals for their hide and meat. This allowed just the simple fact of stopping the animals from being hunted, allowed this animal to recover, and it has recovered nearly to its original population status, to the point that we are allowing sustainable harvest of the animals to control populations, the same that we have done with deer. It's a very good model and a very good example of how conservation works and how it can work.
This is Thurber, and he is a Komodo Dragon, and we are working with him to do some target training so that we can more easily work with him. So right now, he's following me because he knows I give him food, and that is one thing we don't want him to do. So I'm not rewarding him at all for it. So when he comes to the target, or I present the target, and then when he comes to the target, we reward him for that. I don't know if you can see him sticking his tongue out, but that's him smelling. And so they'll track down their prey by scent. Right now we're feeding him smelt, which is a small fish. They absolutely love fish. Thurber will eat just about anything you stick in front of him. That's food. Our female, though, tends to prefer fish, eggs. They can eat in the wild, they can eat up to about 80% of their body weight. Although here we feed about 6%. And Thurber, last time we weighed him, was about 95 pounds.
Well, thank you all for joining us on this really cool edition of Step Into the Wild. I really hope that you enjoyed yourself and find snakes as fascinating as I do. And please come out and visit your Cameron Park Zoo soon.